All right, Nick, let's talk about the Chicago Bears. The Bears obviously had a busy offseason bringing in a lot of top tier players to this team. I think they've done a really great job filling out the roster. But since some of these guys got there, we're starting to hear their comments. We're starting to hear some things they're saying about one player in particular on the Bears they've been very impressed with. And I don't think Bears fans are all that surprised about who it is, but I think this is really great news for the future, the competitive nature, and just the overall theme of where the Bears franchise is going. I think Bears fans are going to love this one. We'll dive into all that in just a second, but before we do, I'm Andrew, that's Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, a lot of new guys, free agents being added to this Bears team, players they've been traded for on this Bears team coming in, and they've been very impressed with one player in particular, and obviously that is Caleb Williams. A lot of people have had a lot of really great things to say about what they thought about playing with Caleb Williams and what the future of this team looks like under Williams. Let's get into this first article, then we can talk more about everything on the other side. This, of course, is from over on NBC Sports, and it says, Bears backup Case Keenum is eager to work with Caleb Williams, saying that Williams has the talent that can benefit from the knowledge that Case Keenum brings to the quarterback room. He says, I watched all of Caleb Williams and was blown away by his skill set, Keenum told ChicagoBears.com. I did not know him personally, but man, watching some of the throws and things he's able to do in games, he's able to win, and he's able to make. It's like, oh my, he's got everything you could possibly want in an NFL quarterback. I've just been in a lot of situations. I've gotten the crap knocked out of me a bunch, and it's more than knowing how to get hit. I know how to get back up, and I know what it takes to play at a very high level in this league. Obviously, Case Keenum, been around the block, been around a lot of really, high profile quarterbacks and a lot of great quarterback rooms, and I'd dare to say he's a pretty competent quarterback in his own right. A little bit fragile at times, but I think he has played some good football in his days. For him to come in as a backup and already give Williams such high praise, it seems like that's one of the reasons he came. He thought as a veteran, he had a lot to add to Williams. He had a lot to add to this team, and he just really thinks there's something special going on in Chicago here. I think that's a really great sign for Bears fans. You should start getting excited about the new direction of this team. Bears under Ben Johnson, I think we're already seeing a revolution. Guys coming from free agency, guys coming from trades to play with Caleb Williams, to play because they like the trajectory of this team. And finally, people are wanting to come to Chicago because they think they can add and help what's going on. It really sounds like something special is brewing in Chicago. Curious what your thoughts are on this one, Nick. But before we get to you, Bears fans, in the comment section below, let us know. We're talking about the comments that some of these guys have already said about Caleb Williams, but then again, we're talking about guys that have been added to this team as that free agency trade period has slowed down. We're just here before the draft, just a couple of weeks away now. Let us know before the draft hits, who is your favorite addition, the most impactful addition on this Bears team, whether it's through free agency or a trade. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about this latest out of Chicago?
Yeah, it's obviously a huge deal, of course, when you look at the Bears and Caleb Williams. That's the whole reason you bring in Ben Johnson. That's the whole reason you build your entire roster, is to give Williams the infrastructure to be successful. And that's all predicated on Williams actually being a good quarterback. And he showed flashes, right? We know he has the physical gifts. We saw it at Oklahoma and USC, and he did it at times for the Bears last season. But to be honest, with all the issues in terms of the Bears' offensive structure, the play calling, the game management, of course, their pass protection debacle, it was really hard to see how good Caleb Williams actually was. And so Case Keenum, look, he's a guy that's as well respected as any quarterback in the NFL. I know that's kind of weird to say, but some of these backups really just know just the ins and outs, sort of the technicalities, what it takes to be good at the quarterback position better than anybody else. Is like they say, those who can't teach. Case Keenum for years is known as the guy, like, he knows good quarterback play. He's kind of from that Dan Orlovsky model that's now on ESPN and all the other networks and stuff like that. If you're a backup, you know ball. It just seems to go with it. And Case Keenum saying these things, I think, is a good sign for the Bears and Caleb Williams. But it's important to understand here that it's not just Keenum as a new Bears addition, a new Chicago Bear, who's really blown away by Caleb Williams. There's another guy as well. Let's pull up our next article here. This is courtesy of Bears Wire here. All right, Jonah Jackson, who Chicago acquired via trade from the Los Angeles Rams, will serve a key role in strengthening the interior, which was the biggest weakness last season. No kidding. After seeing Williams take 68 sacks and not miss a game, Jackson has a ton of respect for the second-year pro and understands he can thrive with protection. He took 68 sacks and was still fighting, still clawing, Jackson told Go Long's Tyler Dunn. You keep him safe, you keep his eyes downfield and away from the rush, he can have fun back there and slice and dice things up. All right, I think it's really important here to understand that when you have a quarterback that gets killed and he gets back up and keeps fighting and scratching and clawing, you earn the respect of other players in the National Football League, other offensive linemen, defensive players too, coaches across the board. And that's what we saw from Caleb Williams last year. Honestly, what Williams went through in 2024 reminds me very similarly to what Troy Aikman of the Dallas Cowboys went through in 1989. His rookie year, he famously got absolutely killed, couldn't even finish the season due to injury. 0-11 as a starter. It was a disaster. Now we all know Aikman went on to win 3 Super Bowls, first ballot Hall of Fame, and of course the rest is history. But I think Aikman, if you listen to reports, people following the Cowboys and Cowboys players, he won over that team with his toughness, with his grit, the fact that he kept pulling himself off the turf after he kept getting killed and killed and killed week after week. I think Williams doing that for the Bears in 2024 has impressed the entire offensive line, certainly Jonah Jackson here as the report highlights, and the entire team. He has galvanized this entire roster around him. And this is one of the things, it's kind of weird to think about it like this, but if you have a really bad year and things go horribly wrong, but as a player, a young player, a leader, you keep fighting and scratching and clawing, that bad year can actually lead to some really great things. We saw this, of course, probably most famously in recent memory with the Detroit Lions. Of course, Bears fans who are not fans of the Lions, and not to go too deep into that, but the reality is what the Lions went through that first year with Dan Campbell. They were so terrible. They did win a game till like week 14, week 15. I think that their toughness that they showed, their willingness to keep fighting, set the stage for their following winning seasons. I think the Bears had the same kind of thing, especially with Caleb Williams in 2024. I think it set the stage for success to come. You win over the locker room. You win over the veterans. You become the champion. You become the leader. That's what a young quarterback needs to be more than anything else. We're always focused on, can he make the highlight throws, which of course we know Caleb Williams can. Can he read the defense, which of course we know Caleb Williams can. But in my opinion, what really separates young successful quarterbacks who go on to become elite are guys who can be leaders, guys who can win over the locker room, the Tom Brady's, the Drew Breeses, the Aaron Rodgers, right? The Brett Favre's, right? You can keep going down the list, the Patrick Mahomes. The guys that can win over locker rooms go on to have extended success in the NFL, and it looks like Caleb Williams. Jalen Hurts, recent example, is a perfect one of that, winning the Super Bowl last year. This is the example that Williams needs to follow, and he's crushing it when you listen to these reports.
Yeah, Nick, and I think when you listen to these reports, it's kind of funny the way that both players talk about. Keenum alludes to, I've been knocked down a bunch of times in my career, kind of probably keying at how much pressure Caleb Williams took last season. Then Jonah Jackson going and talk about the grit of getting sacked 68 times, an incredible amount by Williams, but still wanting to claw, wanting to fight, wanting to do better. I think that is really a key here, is that they can see the drive, the determination, just the non-quitness in Caleb Williams, which kind of was a concern for people of him coming out of the draft, like California kid, and did the GQ interview, really did all this kind of stuff. People are like, is this guy tough enough to play in this league? Obviously, he 100% and earned the respect of his peers already after just one season. But I think we are talking about what these guys bring to the table. Keenum talking about he knows what to do when he gets knocked down. He knows how to get back up. He knows how to keep rolling. Jonah Jackson wants to protect Williams. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing here. It seems obvious, but when you break it down as far as what Williams did best last year, under pressure, he was at his worst. He made the most mistakes there. He had the most interceptions thrown when he was under pressure. 4 interceptions there. He had the most, bad grades, I would say. His offensive grade overall was a 53 under pressure. His passing grade was a 49 under pressure. So they can clean that up a little bit. I think we're going to start to see a much better Caleb Williams. This is a guy who, in his first year, you don't want to be under pressure 781 times. That's a lot of times to be under pressure, but I don't think that is where they need to be. I think this is going to help tremendously for Caleb Williams, having Case Keenum come in, having Jonah Jackson come in. But I think overall, the bigger theme here, the more important thing to think about is already so many players are impressed by Williams, by him having a down year, I would say, of he had bad protection. He wasn't in the right environment. He didn't have Ben Johnson calling plays for him. If they can see him at his quote unquote, let's hope it's his worst, and they're that impressed with him, I can only imagine how good this Bears team is going to be this coming season when they're going to start to be better and better and better. I'm really excited for the development of Caleb Williams, and I'm really excited for the development in the direction of this Bears franchise.
Yeah, just one final point to end on here, and I think this is what's really important, is there's two things you can't fake if you're a football player or an athlete in general. You can't fake work ethic, and you can't fake toughness. And that's what Caleb Williams showed last season, right? And this is where you get buy-in from everyone in the organization. We all know Ben Johnson, new head coach, Ryan Poles, GM, Warren's the president, CEO, whatever his title is. But honestly, in today's NFL, the quarterback, he is the leader of the franchise. He is the boots on the ground, the guy leading the team to victory or defeat. Coaches get fired, GMs get fired, owners have to make big changes, all predicated on quarterback play. You've got to have mentally tough leaders. You've got to have guys that work hard. And Caleb Williams, in terrible circumstances last year, showed he has the work ethic and the toughness. We're seeing the buy-in from Jackson. We're seeing the buy-in from Case Keenum. And it's an indication that the future is really bright in Chicago.